In this tutorial, I will show you how to get cleaner and more detailed renders in Blender with Octane Render by using OpenImageDenoise on individual AOVs. AOVs, or arbitrary output variables, are the building blocks of your final render. Each AOV represents a lighting or shading component, like diffuse, reflection, refraction, emission, volume, ambient occlusion, etc. When combined, they form the beauty pass. Let's talk about denoising. Most people, especially when starting out, just apply a denoiser to the final beauty pass and call it a day. But if you really care about quality, preserving detail, avoiding artifacts, there is a better way: denoising each AOV separately. Okay, so here we are inside Blender Octane Edition. Before I start speaking about AOVs and denoising and blah blah blah, I'm gonna start speaking about something really important that will define the detail retention on your renderings, and that is the render settings and the output size. And I have discovered that it's better to render in 4K with low samples than rendering with the usual resolution of 1920 per 1080 with a bunch of samples. So take this in mind when you work on, I don't know, maybe if you're working on cinematics or animations. I suggest you to use this output format instead of the usual. Also, in my render settings, I have 50 samples of maximum. I have in the GI clamp, per default, you will have like 1 million of GI clamp. So this is related to the light bounces. So you just need 10, not 1 million. The result is almost identical. Okay. Another important render setting: turn this AI light off just in case. And in adaptive sampling, turn this on, put the denoise threshold on 0.1 or 0.2, and the minimum adaptive samples use the half of the maximum samples. And another important setting is the filter size. Leave this in 1 because if you turn this up, you will see that the image is a bit blurred. So bring this down so we can have the maximum sharpness possible in our render, okay? Usually when you use Octane Render, if you want to apply the denoiser on your render, you just need to go here to the view layer and switch to the denoiser beauty and turn on the denoiser beauty here. Then you'll go here and you will turn on the denoiser and choose Octane AI Denoiser and turn on these three. And by the way, make sure you have turned it on the use for all cameras. And you will have this result. So I'm gonna hit render so you can see the difference between Octane AI Denoiser and the OpenImageDenoise. Okay, so the render is finished and we can see here that we got the denoised beauty with the Octane AI Denoiser. Now I'm gonna go here to rendering and switch to the slot 2. I'm gonna launch a render with the OpenImageDenoise. Really important, turn on the prefilter auxiliary AOVs, these two. And let's hit render image. Okay, the render is finished. And if we switch to the denoised beauty and we compare with the first slot, we will see a huge difference between the Octane AI Denoiser, which is this one, and the OpenImageDenoise. However, there is a complication with the OpenImageDenoise. If we switch to the slot 1, you will see that this is the frame that was rendered with the Octane AI. denoiser. We got here, okay, the denoised beauty, but right here in the denoised diffuse, we got the direct, indirect, reflection, volume, whatever. If we switch to the slot 2, okay, we got the beauty, the denoised beauty, but we will find out that all the other denoised AOVs are black, and this is because of the usage of the OpenImageDenoise. And this is a huge problem if you want to export this to another software for compositing like After Effects or Nuke or Fusion in DaVinci. However, I found a way to fix this using the Octane compositor. Using this way, you will be able not only to have this result, you will be able to even improve this. And using the Octane compositor, you will be able to compose and change everything inside the Octane render in Blender. So I'm gonna show you how to do this, okay? First of all, I'm going to create here, I'm gonna duplicate this layout. I'm gonna call this Octane compositor. Nice. And I'm gonna join right here. And okay, right here, I'm gonna choose Octane Render AOV. And here, I'm gonna choose Octane Composite. Okay, this is great. Now that we got here, we'll go here to our view layer. And right here, we're going to switch this to Render AOV Node Graph. And this is the important part. We're going to use this tab and this tab, okay? So I'm gonna delete this. You will find this empty by default. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna click here on Quick Add Node 3. I'm gonna call this Octane AOV Set Up. And down here, I'm gonna click here, Quick Add Node 3. And I'm gonna call this Octane Compositor V2. I'm gonna call this V2 because I got already a first try that I did before recording. And right here, I'm gonna choose Octane Compositor V2. And right here, I'm gonna choose Octane AOV Setup, okay? In this tab, we're going to set up all the AOVs that we're going to use down here in the Octane composite, okay? So I'm gonna add here, I'm gonna delete these inputs. I'm gonna add here a render AOV group, which is already there. I'm gonna add a second render AOV group. And right here, we're going to choose the fundamentals AOVs. And what I mean with fundamentals is that this will be the fundamentals AOVs that you will need to recreate the beauty path, okay? So first of all, I'm gonna add the diffuse direct. I'm gonna add diffuse indirect. Put this here. I'm gonna add, if you have any object with an emission material, you should add an emitter, but since we don't have any material or object with emission, I won't add this AOV. So I'm gonna add the reflection direct. I'm gonna add the reflection indirect. A couple more inputs. I'm gonna add the refraction AOV. I'm gonna add, let me see. If you have any object with subsurface scattering or transmission, you should add also these AOVs. In this case, in this class that I got here in this routine, we're using transmission here. So let me switch this to this setup. Okay. So right here, I'm gonna add the subsurface scattering. And okay, this will be the fundamentals. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna select all of these, press Ctrl J, I'm gonna press N in the node level. I'm gonna call this Fundamentals AOVs. Okay, here we got them. Nice. And now in the second render AOV group, and the second input, sorry, I'm gonna add a render AOV group. In this render AOV group, I'm going to plug two AOVs that are quite important for the denoising part, which are the denoise albedo and denoise normal, okay? So I'm gonna select all of these, press Ctrl J, bring this down. I'm gonna call this denoiser AOVs. And okay, I got here the fundamentals and denoiser AOVs. I'm gonna just focus on rebuilding the beauty pass and applying the denoiser on all the AOVs down here. Okay, so I'm gonna add here on the input one a node, call it output AOV. And right here, I'm gonna add a bunch of inputs. I'm gonna start to work on this. Let's add here in the layer one, layer group. And let's add here 3 layers. In the layer one, let's add render AOV. And we want to choose here the diffuse direct. Shift D to duplicate this, connect this here, and choose here the diffuse indirect. So if you want to see what's going on down here, right here, just select the AOV output 1, okay? And let's switch to the render view, and you will see everything that's going on here in real time. And okay, right here we got the diffuse indirect and the diffuse direct, but the problem is that we want to mix both of these in just one. So right here on blending settings, I'm gonna add this node and switch this to add. And now we got this node, or let's call it this layer in add transform mode over this. This is something like if you have used Photoshop or After Effects, you will understand what I'm talking about, okay? So this layer group will be our diffuse. So let's select everything here, Ctrl J. Let's add this color just for fun, like a dark blue. On light level, let's write diffuse, and this will be our diffuse AOV. So now I'm going to select everything here, Shift D and duplicate. Okay, and right here we're gonna add the reflection pass. So I'm gonna change the name to reflection. Let's switch the color to something green. Let's connect this here. We're gonna change the diffuse indirect for reflection direct, or indirect is the same, reflection direct. Right here, reflection indirect. Now we got the reflection and the diffuse pass, but we got another problem, and that is we want this layer to be on top of this in add blending mode or transfer mode. So if you want to do this, you will just go here to the blending settings in the layer group node of this group. Let's hit in the plus and change this to add. I'm gonna move this here, something like this. Bring this down and move this. So as you can see, we got the reflection on top of the diffuse. And the good thing is that if we turn this off, you can just turn off the full pass, which is great. I don't know if you realized that we were working on ACES tone mapping. So I'm gonna return here to my Octane composite UI, and I'm gonna add here in the top of the layers a node called convert for SDR display ACES. Okay, so in this way, I'm gonna put this here. We will be watching everything in the ACES tone mapping. Okay, so let's continue building the beauty path. I'm gonna move this down, and right here I'm gonna add another layer group right here. Okay, I'm gonna add a render AOV called Refraction. Okay, here we got the refraction, and let's add here another layer, and on the blending settings, let's put this on add transform mode. Okay, let's turn this off, turn this on. Okay, here we got the refraction, and select everything here, Control J. I'm gonna go to the node here, level, and let's call this refraction. Perfect. Let's add a color to this, something maybe, I don't know, pink, whatever, it doesn't matter. And put this here, okay? And now we're gonna mold this down again. And I'm gonna add on the layer 4. I'm gonna actually duplicate this. And I'm gonna change the color of this to something like orange or something. And I'm gonna call this subsurface scattering. Okay, let's plug this here. And I'm gonna change this to subsurface scattering. Okay, and if we cut this, you will see that we're adding the subsurface layer of the cloth of the curtain. Okay, so let's reconnect this here, and I think we are done. But how can we know if we are done or not? So right here we are watching the AOV output. So let's switch to the beauty and compare if you're having the same result. So as you can see, we got here like some kind of volume, okay? And this is because and the world I'm using a scattering node just to create a little volumetric effect of volumetric light entering on the window, through the window. So I'm gonna actually bring this down again, and I'm gonna duplicate this. Let's change the color of this group to something. I'm running out of colors, maybe dark gray. Let's call this volume. I'm gonna change here this to, where is it? To the volume, okay? And let's plug this on this layer. I'm gonna cut this here so you can see what's going on. And I can't actually see my volume. Why? Well, the reason is quite simple, and it is because I forgot to add the volume AOV here, but we can solve this with just one click. I'm gonna add here an input. Right here, I'm going to select, where is it? The volume, where are the volumes? Here, beauty volumes, volume AOV. And as you can see, the volume will appear down here. So we got the volume. Let's switch this to add. And let's compare again with the beauty. As you can see, this is too bright. And I think that it is because we need another AOV called transmission. Let's add an input here. And I'm gonna add the beauty transmission AOV. sorry, here in this group. Nice. Okay. I'm gonna duplicate this. Again, I'm running out of colors. Let's make these white or I don't know, full black maybe. And let's put the name of transmission. Okay. And let's switch this to the transmission and connect this here. And okay, I think this is working way better. Now let's compare to the beauty. Okay. So, okay, as you can see, we got identical results between the beauty and the AOV output 1, which means that we have rebuilt the beauty pass correctly right here using the Octane composite, which is great. Now, we're gonna face the crucial part of this tutorial, which is the denoising part, okay? So, I'm gonna turn off everything here, turn this off, turn this off, turn this off, turn this off. I'm gonna stay only with the diffuse. So I'm gonna add OpenImageDenoise node, okay? And I'm going to connect this here to the layer 3. And as you can see, we got a really cool denoising effect. However, this node is washing a bit the details on the diffuse pass. So to fix this, I'm gonna add here render AOV here. Sorry, Control Z. Okay, nice. And duplicate this and plug this here. Okay, so right here on the albedo, I'm gonna switch this to right here, denoise albedo. I'm gonna make this bigger. And down here, I'm gonna change this to denoise normal, okay? So as you can see, we have recovered a lot of detail on on our diffuse AOV. And remember to turn on the prefilter auxiliary input. So right now, I'm gonna demonstrate you the difference between having this and this. Okay, so the render has finished, and as you can see, this is the render where I disconnected both of this. But when I connected this and this, just check the difference. I hope you can see that. So I am recovering a lot of detail using both of those AOVs for the denoising. So okay, I'm gonna create a new group here, call it Denoiser. Okay, I'm gonna add this a color, maybe strong blue, and something like this. And okay, I'm gonna move this here, and I'm gonna press Shift and right click. Okay. And I'm going to connect these to all the passes except the volume, and then I'm gonna explain why. I'm gonna connect this to the reflection in this layer. I'm gonna connect this here, maybe move this here with the G key, subsurface scattering. Connect this here. I'm going to connect, oh no, not the volume, not here. Actually, let's move the volume to the top layer. So I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna switch the position of these groups. Move this here and move this here. Awesome. And plug this here on this layer of the transmission. So as you can see, we got the denoiser applied on all the passes except the volume. I'm gonna explain you why. So I'm gonna turn off the diffuse also. Okay, everything is turned off, transmission off, and I'm gonna turn on the volume, okay? Okay, so here we got our volume. If you want to denoise the volume, you will need to create another. You will have to duplicate this group, but you will have to unplug this. And this is because if we connect this to the volume, we, actually I'm doing this. We're going to see that some kind of projection of the of this denoise albedo and denoise normal here on the volume, and we don't want that because that's not how the volume should work. Okay, so I'm gonna disconnect here, and I'm gonna take this, Shift D, move this up. I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna call this volume denoiser. And I'm gonna connect this here, okay? So as you can see, we got our volume denoised properly. And finally, I'm gonna turn on all my layers, transmission, subsurface scattering, refraction, reflection, diffuse. Maybe I'm gonna move this here, something like this. And okay. Something like this. And okay, our node 3 is complete. So we built the beauty pass with the help of Octane Compositor and the Octane AOVs. And doing it in this way instead of denoising the beauty pass directly is that you're applying noise reduction on an already combined image. That image includes diffuse, reflection, refractions, everything mixed together. And the problem is the denoiser can't distinguish between noise and fine detail from all these different elements. So it often wipes out subtle textures or creates smudging around complex lighting, etc. So that's why I prefer denoising in this way, because in this way I can save the most detail as I can. So let's see if I am right. Right now, I'm gonna render a frame with the AOV output 1 versus the denoiser of OpenImageDenoise. Okay, so the render is finished, and if we compare the AOV output 1 with the denoise beauty, you will see the difference. So as you can see, this is looking not too good, but when we switch to the AOV output 1, you can see how we recover details here and here. Also, let me switch this here. Denoise beauty, okay. AOV output 1, okay, we got more details. Maybe this surface. Let's go to the denoised beauty and AOV output. Okay, let's go down here. Denoised beauty. AOV output 1. So, okay, so I have demonstrated that this is the best way to denoise your render inside Octane Render. So I hope you guys have learned a lot with this tutorial. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.